Imagine standing in a sun-baked chamber 3,000 years ago. A priest in a jackal mask holds a cold iron hook. He slides it up a corpse's left nostril, twisting until the bone breaks, liquefying the brain so it can drain out onto the stone floor. To modern eyes, this is a nightmare of desecration, but to the ancient Egyptians, it was the first brutal step in a desperate, high-stakes battle against eternal damnation. We are taught that the pharaohs built the pyramids because they were obsessed with death. That is a lie. They were not in love with death. They were utterly terrified of what came after it. Because in the ancient Egyptian cosmos, dying was not the end of your struggles. It was merely the beginning of an ordeal so horrific that a single mistake meant complete, irreversible annihilation. And to survive it, you had to surrender your body to a process of terrifying, bloody precision. The journey to eternity did not begin with a prayer. It began with a blade of sharp obsidian. Inside the wabet, the house of purification, embalmers made a single incision into the left flank of the deceased. One by one, the internal organs were pulled from the abdominal cavity, the liver, the lungs, the stomach, the intestines. Each was washed in palm wine, spiced with myrrh, and sealed into 4 sacred canopic jars, guarded by the sons of Horus. But one organ was meticulously left inside the chest, the heart. It was believed to be the seat of intelligence, memory, and emotion, and it would be desperately needed for the ultimate trial. The brain, however, was discarded as useless slag. What remained of the body was packed in natron, a harsh, natural salt scraped from dry lake beds. For 40 agonizing days, the salt devoured every drop of moisture, shrinking the muscle, blackening the skin, and transforming human flesh into a hollow leather shell. It was a violent chemical resurrection. If the body rotted, the soul's twin components, the Kai, the life force, and the Bai, the human-headed personality, would return from the ether, find no physical anchor, and starve. To lose your physical form was to suffer the second death, total permanent erasure from the universe. Yet mummification was only the armor. Once wrapped in hundreds of yards of fine linen, the corpse had to be armed for war. Look closely at the papyrus scrolls tucked between the linen wrappings of a pharaoh's mummy. These are not hymns of peace. This is the spells of coming forth by day. What modern history misnames the Book of the Dead. It was a high-stakes survival manual for the soul's treacherous march through the Duat, the Egyptian underworld. The Duat was not a peaceful realm of clouds. It was a shifting, pitch-black labyrinth of fire lakes, boiling blood, and iron gates guarded by grotesque abominations. Demons with documented historical names like He Who Dances in Blood, She Who Feeds on the Slain, and the Knife Wielder lurked at every cavernous turn. These guardians were not metaphors. The Egyptians believed they were brutally real. To pass each gate, the soul could not fight with weapons. It had to speak the secret, true name of every demon, every door, and every lock on the gateway. Miss a single syllable, mispronounce a god's hidden name, and the soul would be torn apart by obsidian blades, thrown into the lake of fire, or hung upside down to consume its own waste for eternity. If the traveler successfully navigated these horrors, dodging venomous serpents and rivers of fire using the magical cheat codes of their funeral scroll, they would finally reach the center of the underworld, the Hall of Two Truths. And it was here that the ultimate terror awaited. Before the silent, green-skinned king of the dead, Osiris, sat 42 divine assessors. The air was heavy with incense and dread. The soul had to step forward and deliver the negative confession, denying 42 specific sins before 42 terrifying deities. I have not stolen. I have not slain men. I have not uttered lies. If the soul lied, its own heart would betray it. Anubis, the black jackal god of embalming, steps forward. He guides the trembling soul to a massive set of golden scales. On one side, Anubis places the Ibi, the physical heart of the deceased, heavy with every secret thought, every sin, and every betrayal committed in life. On the other side, he places a single snow-white ostrich feather, the feather of Mat, the cosmic weight of truth, order, and divine justice. Thoth, the ibis-headed god of wisdom, stands ready with a reed pen, preparing to record the eternal verdict. The room falls dead silent. The scales balance. The heart dips. Crouched directly beneath the balance is a creature straight out of a nightmare. Amit, the devourer. Head of a crocodile, torso of a leopard, hindquarters of a hippopotamus, the three deadliest man-eaters in Egypt. Amit does not wait for a sentence of hellfire. She simply waits to eat. If the heart is heavy with guilt, if it tips the balance even a fraction of an inch against the feather of truth, Thoth gives the command. Amit strikes. She devours the heart in a single crushing bite. There is no redemption. There is no second chance. The soul does not go to a place of punishment. It ceases to exist. It is thrown into non-existence, wiped from cosmic memory forever. This was the supreme terror that drove an entire civilization for 3,000 years. Every pyramid built, every temple carved, every gold mask forged, every brutal incision made by an embalmer's blade was built upon a single, desperate gamble. To protect the heart, to fool the gods, and to buy a ticket to Aru, the field of reeds, a paradise where the crops grew endlessly high and the dead lived forever beside the stars. The Egyptians were never obsessed with death. They loved life so fiercely, so passionately, that they were willing to tear open human bodies, map the realm of monsters, and gamble their very souls just to make sure that life would never end.